and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the rest of our report. Federal Capital Territory FCT in some Wike says President Bola Tinubu has set a record in the FCT, adding that no previous administration has beaten the record of Tinubu's renewed hope agenda set in Abuja. Wike spoke during the commissioning of the newly provided engineering infrastructure in Wuye district, and while appreciating God for 20 days of flagging off of projects and commissioning in the FCT. Wike said if there is any administration since the inception of the Federal Capital Territory that has beaten President Bola Tinubu's record, let him speak now or forever remain silent. We head to Nasarawa State, where Governor Abdullahi Sule says the mass defection of governors, senators, and other top politicians from other political parties into the country into the All Progressive Congress is due to the ongoing reforms by President Bola Tinubu's administration, which are aimed at taking the nation to greater heights. The governor, who disclosed this in Lafayette, the state capital, during the welcoming ceremony of Senator Ahmed Wadada, representing the Nasarawa West Senatorial District at the National Assembly, back to the APC from the Social Democratic Party, and commended President Tinubu for being courageous enough to make decisions for the benefit of the country. Governor Sule also commended Wadada for deciding to lead the Social Democratic Party for the APC and assured that he and his supporters would be given equal opportunities to thrive in the party, stressing that ahead of the 2027 elections, the executives of the party had decided to support only credible and popular candidates to represent the party during the various elections in the state, including that of the governorship. While appreciating Governor Sule for his leadership qualities and his numerous supports to the party over the years, Bello said the governor had done enough to ensure for the party to progress steadily, adding that he returned to the APC with his teaming supporters from the SDP and other opposition political parties in the state will improve the leadership style and his political antecedents. While declaring his complete loyalty to Sule as the leader of the party in the state, he urged the governor to continue the hard work in order to sustain the peace currently enjoyed by the residents. President Bola Tinubu has tasked the Nigerian judiciary to remain steadfast, impartial, and incorruptible in discharge of its duties. In a post on the official X handle of the Vice President Kashim Shettima, Tinubu warned that the collapse of any society begins when those entrusted with interpreting its laws become compromised, and this comes after the President's remarks at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and National Judicial Institute (NJI) workshop for judges and justices held in Abuja. President Tinubu, who was represented by his vice Kashim Shettima, said his administration remains committed to improving the welfare and working conditions of judicial officers, stressing that recent remuneration reviews form part of broader efforts to strengthen judicial independence, and also reaffirmed that the moral foundation of the Nigerian nation rests squarely on the integrity of its judicial system, adding that justice must remain a guiding principle for peace and progress. The president also addressed growing public concerns about delays in the adjudication of high-profile corruption cases, contrasting them with the faster resolution of cybercrime matters, adding that the judiciary plays a pivotal role in preserving public trust and must demonstrate fairness, transparency, and efficiency in handling all cases, especially those involving economic and financial crimes. President Tinubu further said his administration's commitment to justice reform goes beyond remuneration and aims at providing the judiciary with the autonomy and tools required to perform its constitutional responsibilities without interference. President Bola Tinubu has nominated Dr. Bernard Doro from Plateau State as a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and had forwarded his name to the Senate for confirmation. Doro's nomination comes after the elevation of Professor Natewa Gashwe Yeltuada, the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, who was elected National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress in July. Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, who declared the nomination in a statement issued Tuesday, said the President, during a private meeting with close aides on Monday evening, expressed his intention to name nominees to occupy 2 vacant portfolios in his cabinet, including that of the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, who resigned weeks ago. According to records, Dr. Bernard Doro was born in January 23, 1969 in Kwal Bassa, local government area of Plateau State, with more than 2 decades of experience spanning in clinical practice, pharmaceutical management, strategic leadership, and community development in both the United Kingdom and Nigeria. Beyond his medical and administrative expertise, Doro has been active in youth mentorship and social impact initiatives in both the Nigerian diaspora and local communities. In the realm of higher education, the Nigerian Senate has proposed converting Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University from a specialized university into a conventional one. The bill aims to allow ATBU to offer programs across arts, humanities, and social sciences, expanding its academic scope beyond technology and engineering disciplines. This legislative effort addresses access issues and regional development, especially in Bauchi State, which currently lacks a conventional federal university. A bill titled the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Amendment Bill 2025 SB 910 was sponsored by Senator Umar Buba to amend the institution's funding law.
The objective of this bill are to: 1. Make it a conventional university. Empower the university to offer courses and conduct research in all academic disciplines. Ensure equity and parity with other federal universities operating under similar conditions. To enhance collaborations, accreditation, and international recognition for the institution, and expand access to higher education in the Northeast Zone and Nigeria at large.
So while we are trying to open up, because this is just opening up more opportunities for social sciences and arts in our universities, we must never forget to emphasize and in fact reinforce more investments in our polytechnics, where the kind of hands, the kind of brains that we need for moving our country on the wheels of technology will be given all the support that is necessary.
After extensive debates, the proposed legislation passed for second reading and was referred to the Senate Committee on Tertiary Education. Senate has passed the bill prescribing life imprisonment for anyone, male or female, found guilty of sexually defiling minors in a move to stem the rising tide of child sexual abuse across the country. The passage of the bill comes amid mounting national outrage over increasing cases of pedophilia and child molestation, which have left many victims physically and psychologically scarred, while reports from rights groups and law enforcement agencies in recent years show that Nigeria has witnessed an alarming surge in cases involving children as young as 5 being sexually assaulted by adults, including family members, teachers, and clerics. Presenting the motion, Senator Adams Oshomole, APC Edo North, stressed that the offense of defiling a minor should be treated differently from that of raping an adult, while Deputy Senate President Senator Jibrin Barau also supported the motion, insisting that the offenders should face punishment without the option of a fine. Although Oshomole's initial 20-year jail term proposal gained traction, it was later rejected after Senator Mohammed Adamu Alerio, Kebbi Central, argued that the punishment should be stiffer to serve as a deterrent, and his position was immediately backed by Senator Solomon Adeola Ogun West, who maintained that the gravity of the crime warranted the maximum penalty. The bill's passage is expected to serve as a deterrent amid growing public concern that many child rape cases go unpunished due to the weak enforcement and social stigma. Nigerian Senate has suspended further consideration of the Criminal Code Amendment Bill 2025 following an intense debate over a clause related to abortion. The bill, which was presented by Senate Leader Okoyemi Bamidele for concurrence, seeks to modernize Nigeria's century-old penal code, introducing stricter punishment for offenses such as child defilement, attempted suicide, abduction, and possession of human body parts. The Senate on Tuesday took time to amend the Criminal Code bill, thereby providing safer punishments for offenders, particularly those found guilty of defilement of a minor irrespective of gender. The bill, however, faced strong opposition during debate on the section that increases penalties for supplying drugs or instruments intended for abortion. Lawmakers raised concerns that the wording could criminalize doctors performing emergency procedures to save lives, calling for clearer distinction between illegal abortions and medically necessary interventions. Meanwhile, the Senate passed two other bills for concurrence: the Federal Road Safety Commission Amendment Bill and the Dietitians Council of Nigeria Establishment Bill. Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the trial of Kogi North Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan over alleged cybercrime to November 24. This is coming after Natasha was arraigned on June 30 on the 6-count charge filed by the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar, and she was granted bail, following which Justice Umar adjourned until September 22 for the commencement of the trial. Natasha, in the charge, is alleged to have transmitted false and injurious information via electronic media with the intention to malign, incite, and endanger lives and breach public order. And the senator was alleged to have, while addressing a gathering on April 4th in Ihiama, Kogi State, accused the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, of instructing ex-governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State to have her killed in the state. She also alleged to have repeated similar claims to the effect that the Senate President and governor plotted to kill her in Kogi, and the charge was brought under the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Prevention Act 2024. House of Representatives have now resolved to intervene in the recent face-off between members of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria and the Dangote Refinery, which had disrupted petroleum product distribution nationwide. The resolution of the House followed the consideration and adoption of a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by Kano and Sokoto lawmakers Al-Hassan Doguwa and Abu Samad Dasuki, respectively, at Tuesday's plenary. The face-off between Pengasen and the Dangote Refinery led to an industrial action which commenced on September 29, 2025, disrupting the operations at the $20 billion refinery, and also led to a disruption in Nigeria's crude oil production, with a reported daily loss of approximately 200,000 barrels over 3 days, adding that the disruption worsened the petroleum supply situation across the country, resulting in scarcity and long queues at filling stations in several states. Another severe hardship suffered by millions of Nigerians. Speaking on the motion, Doguwa, who represents Doguwa Tudun Wada Federal Constituency, Kano State, stressed the need to protect the Dangote Refinery given its strategic significance to the nation's economy, adding that the House is aware Dangote Refinery is a strategic private investment of immense national importance, with the potential to guarantee energy security, reduce import dependency, generate employment, and conserve a foreign exchange.
Worried that if private investment of strategic national importance are continually subjected to unlawful disruptions by adversarial unionism, Nigeria risks not only the failure of key economic assets, but also the erosion of investor confidence necessary for national growth and economic development. Worried that if private investment of strategic national importance.
The House, in another motion moved by Honorable Philip Agbese, called for an investigation into over $1.8 billion and $2.8 billion grants received from the Global Fund and US aid between 2021 and 2025 for health interventions, which was adopted.
The House concerned that despite this significant investment, Nigerians remain burdened by public health threats, including 15,000 AIDS-related deaths among children between the age of 0 months to 14 months in 2023 alone, of 51,000 AIDS-related deaths in 2023, ranking Nigeria third globally in HIV-related deaths, the highest malaria burden globally, with 26.6% of cases and 31% of deaths worldwide.
The Green Chamber also requested details of federal interventions to states and local governments outside FAAC allocations from 2023 to date, following a motion by Honorable Abu Samad Kasuki, Gombe State.
House aware that while these interventions are vital to addressing specific financial and developmental needs at subnational levels, the absence of a consolidated public record for these disbursements may undermine transparency, hinder effective oversight, and limit public accountability.
Meanwhile, a bill to establish the Nigerian Police Force Pension Board and exempt the force from the contributory pension scheme has passed third reading and awaits presidential assent. House of Representatives have urged the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, and the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Olayemi Cardoso to submit a detailed report of all financial aid granted to state and local governments, aside from the statutory monthly allocations distributed through the Federal Account Allocation Committee from 2023 to date. The resolution of the House was quelled to the adoption of a motion at plenary moved by Sokoto lawmaker Abu Samad Dasuki, who raised concerns over the absence of transparency and public access to information on financial advances to state and local governments by the federal government, adding that over the years, the federal government introduced different financial intervention initiatives aimed at addressing the effect of economic policies and supporting infrastructure development at the lower tier of government. Aside from disbursements from the Federation account, other intervention schemes include budget transport loans, infrastructure development funds, and ecological and emergency relief grants, as well as other conditional and discretional aid. And this lack of documentation, according to Dasuki, has raised trust issues, making the oversight function of public institutions difficult. The House further mandated its committees on finance, intergovernmental affairs, and public accounts to scrutinize the report once submitted, consult relevant agencies, and ensure that all such interventions comply with the principles of accountability, transparency, and value for money. The committees are to submit their report within 4 weeks for further legislative action. Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has issued a 4-week ultimatum to the government to conclude negotiations with all academic and non-academic unions in the higher institutions of learning, stressing that the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the Nigerian Labour Congress have united in the move to fight for lasting solution to the incessant instability in academic calendar of universities in the country. The NLC said, with the leadership of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, colleagues of Education Academic Staff Union, Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Polytechnics, among others, over the ongoing strike in universities and other concerns raised by workers in tertiary institutions nationwide, was held at the NLC National Headquarters in Abuja. The NLC had invited all union leaders across various tertiary institutions of learning nationwide to a meeting in order to find lasting solutions to issues stemmed from failed negotiations with the government. This is coming after ASU National President Professor Chris Piuna declared a strike at a press briefing at the University of Abuja on Sunday, following the expiry of a 14-day ultimatum issued to the government on September 28, after adding that the union cited unresolved issues relating to staff welfare, infrastructure, salary arrears, and the implementation of the 2009 ASU FGN agreement. The union is demanding full implementation of the 2009 agreement, release of 3.5 months of withheld salaries, sustainable funding for universities, protection against victimization, payment of outstanding promotion and salary arrears, and the release of withheld deductors for cooperatives and other contributions. 2 vehicles, a 2020 Toyota CHR and a 2019 Toyota RAV4 that were stolen in the Netherlands and illegally shipped into Nigeria, have been recovered by the police. The vehicles were tracked by officers from the Interpol National Central Bureau (NCB) in Abuja alongside Interpol NCB Hugh in Lagos and Akwa Ibom, respectively. The cars were stolen from the cities Amsterdam and Midden, Netherlands, and reached Lagos by late 2023 via the port of Antwerp in Belgium. The Federal High Court in Abuja had on final order for the forfeiture of the vehicles, and the court granted the ruling in favor of the Dutch government via the vehicles' insurance company. The order enables the legitimate return of the vehicles to the Netherlands. Following the court's decision, Interpol NCB Abuja team has transferred custody of the recovered vehicles to the representatives from both the insurance company and the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Nigeria. The police statement also said the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has commended the Interpol operatives for their professionalism. And now we head to some business reports. West African midstream and downstream energy regulators have concluded plans to form a new forum to harmonize fuel prices and strengthen petroleum product trading across the region. The move was one of the key outcomes of the inaugural West African refined fuel market conference, jointly organized by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority and S&P Global Commodity Insights, which took place in Abuja recently. According to a communique issued by NMDPRA's Public Affairs Department on its website, the West African Regulators Forum and a technical working group would be constituted to ensure effective coordination of the conference outcomes and follow-up actions. The NMDPRA, in collaboration with the African Refiners and Distributors Association, said the forum would ensure that timelines contained in the roadmap are adhered to by strategically adding the challenges in intra-African trade, such as infrastructure gaps, tariff barriers, exchange rates, bottlenecks, and lack of uniformity in product population, as well as other key outcomes from the conference included the provision of incentives for expansion of refining capacity, establishment of independent and transparent price assessment for the region, evolution of innovative funding schemes by African financial institutions for regional infrastructure, and development of a harmonized pricing framework and product quality standards relevant to government bodies. The communique also said stakeholders agreed to create petroleum product and natural gas trading hubs in Nigeria and the convening of an annual conference on the West Africa refined fuel market. We take some entertainment news. Nollywood actor Chinedu Ikedieze, popularly known as Aki, has called on Nigerians to prioritize mental health awareness, adding that emotional well-being is just as important as physical health and called for more advocacy. Ikedieze said the issue of rape should not be taken for granted as many people silently struggle and personal environmental changes. According to the actor, he recently attended the mental health conference in Namibia organized by Echoes Africa Initiative, a charity organization based in New York, where he served as a guest participant, adding that the event opened his eyes to the importance of emotional discipline and self-awareness in coping with life's pressures. He also said the experience was worthwhile and encouraged more Nigerians to engage in open conversations about mental health, using platforms such as workshops and movies to create wider audiences. And that's the size of the package. Thanks for joining us. I am Ataria Benjamin. Remember, you can follow and connect us on all our social media platforms on X, Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, and we're on Instagram on Atlantic TV Network 1. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you so much for watching. Stay with us. Up next is Society Watch.